Many people who follow this channel are well aware of Pennsylvania Railroad number 4663, specifically for its status as a streamlined doodlebug. Here, a simple railcar was given an exquisite streamlined front for branch line services, which is a practice almost unheard of in American railroading. Other than the Pennsy, the Chicago and Northwestern employed this practice of streamlining an unsuspecting doodlebug for two of their units, specifically numbers 9915 and 9926, but there isn't enough info on these railcars to make an episode on them. However, there is one more railcar with just enough information, specifications, and style to gain the status of a streamlined doodlebug, and that lucky railcar is Alaska Railroad number 216. The story of the third designated streamlined doodlebug is surprisingly similar to the first streamlined doodlebug in many ways, in which they both started their careers as unstreamlined railcars in mid-eastern America, became streamlined in the 1940s, and were both the only roster doodlebug to be streamlined on their respective railroads. In the case of this episode, Alaska Railroad 216 started its career as one of many doodlebugs produced by the J.G. Brill Company, with the railcar to be focused on working for the New York Central, the main rival of the Pennsylvania Railroad that owned the previously reviewed streamlined doodlebug. This railcar was built in 1928 as M201 as the first of 6 in an order of passenger baggage mail, or PBM cars, numbered M201 to M206, which were equipped with Brill Westinghouse Model Z50 gas-powered engines. Once in service, M201, along with many other self-propelled railcars, or doodlebugs as they were also referred to, likely for their doodling through town, served the countless branch lines of the New York Central and its subsidiaries, with most railcars, like M201, being built rather tall but smooth when compared to other builders. However, many of these railcars didn't stay on the Central for long, due to numerous mechanical and electrical failures with the engines, the maintenance of various doodlebugs for many manufacturers being confusing for shop workers, and just being hard to operate for motormen in general, as they had to shift gears at least 5 times in order to reach operating speed after each stop. With the combination of unreliable service quality and financial strains of the Great Depression, many American railroads couldn't afford to run these railcars on their lowest used branch lines, as they eventually sold off their doodlebugs throughout the next few years to either scrap dealers or second-hand railroads. Although M201, now renumbered to M400, was one of the good amount of doodlebugs to thankfully see further service life for some time, the doodlebug would be purchased in 1944 by one of the most unexpected railroads, located all the way in Alaska. In fact, this wasn't the first time the Alaska Railroad imported a northeastern doodlebug, as their newest second-hand railcar would join 114 and 115, which were both ex-Lehigh Valley Rail doodlebugs, as their newest railcar on the roster would appropriately be numbered 116 and given Alaska Railroad lettering on its side. Here, 116 along with other relatively unique locomotives and railcars served an essential link between Seward and Anchorage, Alaska, along the same route as another railcar that was featured in remarkable engines, with 116 usually operating light or carrying a single carriage. Eventually, the 3 Brill railcars would undergo modifications that would enhance their overall appearance and further distinguish their identity, as all 3 of them will be repainted with the railroad's signature blue and yellow, but were given very different fronts. 114 was given a simple slant front under its cab that directly connected to a larger snowplow, along with shrouding as it was renumbered to 214. 115 was given a headlight with streamlined edges along with shrouding and a smoother snowplow as it was renumbered 215. And 116 was given a slant plow, higher engine compartment, and shrouding as it was given a truly streamlined appearance as Railroad's 216. In addition, it was also named Tanana, supposedly after the river of the same name which the railroad runs by near Fairbanks, even though this is the exact opposite end of the region where 216 ran, but Alaska state's significance I suppose. 216's exquisite streamlining was also applied only 4 years after its acquisition in 1948, as it continued to serve the local lower Alaskan communities near the railroad, until a tragic maintenance-related accident would render the railcar out of service another 4 years later, when its trucks were removed for work, and a crew accidentally coupled up to the railcar and pulled it off the blocks, thus causing frame damage which would store the unique railcar. Since so little is known about 216, it is unknown if the railcar was repaired at any point after this, but unfortunately, the one-of-a-kind streamlined doodlebug of Alaska would be officially retired and scrapped along with 214 and 215 in April of 1954, eerily the same year PRR 4663 was scrapped. Despite there being a minimal amount of info on these little documented railcars across the nation, The legacy of 216 still lives to this day, as the development of M201 and countless other doodlebugs led to the introduction of more successful railcars and, in some regions, successful commuter rail service. Furthermore, NYC's sister railcar M405 is preserved on the Delaware and Ulster Railroad in Arkville, New York, and the documentation of the schematics and photos of 216 and its previous forms helps keep the story of this truly remarkable railcar alive and well, as its exquisite streamlining in a remote part of the US makes this railcar a little-known gem in railcar design. Thank you all for watching this episode of Remarkable Legends. This little-known railcar is one of many unique railcars that makes up the diverse fleet of the Alaska Railroad, and stands out not only among the railroad's fleet, but also among other doodlebugs for its unusual streamlined front. Once again, this streamlined doodlebug serves as a rare example of how creative engineering can lead to higher quality and unique status on even some of the least known branch lines. Thank you again for watching. Credit for all the photos used go to their respective photographers, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.